Yeah, you want me to, is that like,
Yeah, I can hear it pretty good.
yeah, I was watching the EVS and Eric July drama.
Yeah, well, I want to talk about that because I don't follow it
For sure,
very
for sure.
closely. We are live now on we're live on my Facebook
Oh, right
at the
on.
moment. I kind of go back and like what I'll end up doing is I'll end up downloading this video and then uploading it to my YouTube channel. Sometimes I go live from the YouTube channel. I just kind of go back and forth. So YouTube
I
doesn't
see.
really seem to care whether I upload a previously recorded video or if I go live. It gives me about the same amount of views either way. So I just kind of go back and
Hmm.
forth. I have a obviously much larger platform on Facebook, so
Right on.
oftentimes
Right
I'll
on.
go live from here. But welcome everyone that's going to watch this video. It's been a
Hell
little
yeah.
while. My name is Kevin Strange. I'm joined tonight by the PhD of comics,
That's right.
Dr. Ben. And
Greetings, sir.
we're gonna do a little chit chatting tonight, and I'm gonna do a little drawing. I've been working on my next project, and things are changing significantly around here at Strangeville Studios, and I'm gonna kind of walk through what what's happening with all that. We're gonna check in with Dr. Ben and what he's been up to. Um, in the description of the video, it does say that I am down to the last 6 copies of Kevin Strange's Space Forms, which is my
I saw that.
uh, basically phone book size graphic novel. The first, well, what I call the first Strangeville graphic novel that's like a standalone with new characters. But Nixon and Hogan do make a an appearance. Dr. Ben,
Oh, you're putting it on there.
they
Oh, I
do
see.
they do make an appearance.
Yeah, yeah, no, I remember that.
So it does connect, directly to the rest of the Strangeville universe. And I like to say that they're all like all of the Strangeville stories are standalone, but they do happen. Sometimes there's a chronology to them. I was thinking about Horror Weed Halloween, Nixon and Hogan's Horror Weed Halloween, which was a Halloween release back now. Oh, geez, a year and a half ago. I can't believe the time has
Yeah.
flown by on that release. Couldn't have been 2.5 years ago. But anyway,
Hmm.
uh, Hogan's brother Tony makes a return in that story, but he's been turned into a tentacly cosmic horror, which happened in the Dead Shit graphic novel. So
Okay.
if you did
Okay.
read Horror Week Halloween before you read Dead Shit, uh, I guess it would explain why. Because I kind of give you a little brief synopsis of why Tony is a cosmic horror. Then you would actually read that backstory. So it would almost be like if you, because you can read them in any order, but it would be like reading a prequel and getting information about something you'd already read. It doesn't matter. You can go back and forth. All these things are standalone. Here's the deal, Dr. Ben. It's been so fucking hard for me to push these fucking graphic novels. I can't give these last few issues away. It's driving
What?
me crazy that people
Yeah,
aren't,
don't.
aren't I think this is my best work. It's definitely my best artwork of anything I've done up to this point. Dr. Ben, can you see that? Can you see that clearly, Dr. Ben?
Oh, yes.
Can you
You
see
do
that?
draw some good titties. I will give you
Well,
that.
oh, there's another set. Oh, there's another set. It just keeps going.
I'm gonna
That's
try
a
and get us.
trifecta right there. That's three nice panels in a row of titties. It's just I think it's partly the economy. People, Kevin Strange work is not a high priority when you can't pay the electric bill because Bidenomics has pushed us further and deeper into poverty than we've been in many years. And I understand that and I respect that. I'm broke and struggling myself, which is why I'm trying to hustle these fucking graphic novels so hard right now because I need the goddamn money. There is a link to buy the uh, the book in the description for the folks that are watching, and I still have one more Space Devil 11 by 17 poster that will be given away for free with the very next um, order of Space Form. So the next person
right.
who orders the graphic novel gets the very last poster, along with
Excellent.
and I don't know when this will ever see a re-release because having these graphic novels printed is fucking expensive. And I don't know when this will ever.
There. I was putting it on the TV so I can actually see. Trying to look at my phone, and I'm like, oh, what's going on?
You're so excited. You're watching our stream already. You've restarted the stream to watch it on the TV.
Actually, I'm gonna grab.
So this is gonna end up being sold out. This is Dr. Ben's studio.
Yeah.
Get an inside look.
Go get the.
It's
the secret sauce right there.
Oh, there it is. There. It looks like you're in a cardboard box.
I am. I'm like the Max. I mean, I watch all my favorite episodes of Cheers. It's fantastic in here.
Oh man, dude, I sit around watching my favorite episode of Cheers. I find a lot of kinship with the Max. Always did since I was a kid.
I was gonna say we can do kind of a janky multi-stream if you want. I can set this over onto. How do I do this? I think I do that.
Dr. Ben's getting jiggy with the technology over here.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I can
do.
Stream? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think that'd be fun. That would be.
Then I'll watch that. You watch this stream, and I'll watch that stream. Streamception happening.
And see, this is what
I'm going to keep explaining what's going on here with.
Yeah, by all means.
So, I put at least 12 months, if not like 14 months of just daily, very physical production into making this book. It's 164 pages, and I don't know how long the longest thing you've. Here's a nice one.
Yeah.
It's a man with his own dick up his ass, and that's not fantasy. I was on a sex cam site once, scrolling through the thumbnails, and I saw this close up.
Oh.
Pretty much just looked like that. Pretty much looked like the guy laying on his bed with his own dick up his ass, and I was like, "What in the world am I looking at?" So I clicked on the guy's stream, and he had this ability somewhere in this general area. He could dislocate his penis, and so it would dramatically. It would go from being hard and standing tall to almost the opposite of that. It would do like 180 degrees, still be hard, but it would do this. He would do this pop, and his dick would drop down and start pointing this way. And he was able to, with a little finesse, get it right inside of his own butthole. And I was just like, I've never seen anything like that before. So it made its way into the, they're looking at. So what's happening here in this scene is Preston is trying to trade Nixon his father's fuck mag collection for a little bit of weed, and so they start flipping through the collection, and Hogan gets excited because he knows that issue of that particular magazine has what does he call himself? Chet Godbanger, I think is what his name is. Nixon, check it out. It's Chet Godbanger.
Chet Godbanger.
That panel says, and I was able to put that real life experience I had right there into the comic. But anyway, the production on this thing took 12, 14 months. I mean, it was a major work. What's the longest comic you've ever worked on, start to finish, Dr. Ben?
That reminds me of. You know who? I don't know if he's still alive. He's apparently died. Fakir Musafar. Have you ever heard of that?
Oh, I know Fakir Musafar. Yeah, he was the original body modification
guy
from the late '90s. He did the pain rituals with the natives in was it African countries or I don't know South American countries.
He did the whatever they call that
Sundance,
one,
right? The Sundance where they They do
Yeah.
they pierce your flesh, and then you rock backwards, and they tie you to a they pierce your flesh on your chest twice, one on each pectoral, and they
Yes.
attach that piercing. It's like hooks. They put metal hooks in you, and then they tie the metal hooks are tied off to rope or thick string, not metal wire, because the point, well, maybe it is metal wire, because they tie it around a tree, and your goal isn't to break the rope. The goal is to break your flesh. So you
Right.
rock back and forth on this fucking against this not against the tree, but away from it, causing there to be more and more tears in your flesh, and you do this. And I think he said that. So I watched a documentary about him. I think he said that it was like 12 or 16 hours of
Yeah.
agonizing, brutal pain, and that
Yeah.
at a
'Cause
certain point,
yeah.
and the goal is to rip it completely out of your
Yes.
flesh, like tear it completely through and fall down, and then the ritual's over.
Right.
And then so at a certain point in this ritual, you become euphoric to the point of actually having spiritual experiences. And these natives in, I don't know what country it was that he was fucking around and fucking himself up like this, but yeah, he wrote a book about that, and there was eventually a video documentary about it as well. But he was also had heavy body modifications like gauged ears and septum, very very large septum. I think he may have even had that center labrae, uh,
I think
uh,
so.
like clipped out, where it was like a very large gauge in it, and then tattooed from head to toe. And he was like the pretentious liberal class of the late '90s loved him because he was like an academic, and he could write books and he could do lectures on the subject. But then he was just like this extreme freak, because
Right.
he also did lots of contortion. And didn't he cinch his waist? Didn't he have? I think he had his waist cinched, and
Yeah.
he did all this contortion where he would get himself all tied up in these knots and get tied up, and he would lay in these constricted fucking positions for uh, untold hours. Where again, it would be the discomfort would cause him to hallucinate, and the hallucinations would give him spiritual experiences. He was hardcore. He was the body modification man in the late '90s. I
Well,
believe
that.
that's probably what D. Snyder based his look on for that Strangeland movie.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, that's what I remember reading about him. Not about D. Snyder, but that he had. Oh shit! I gotta go back. That he had whatever the thing that keeps your genital the male genitalia to go up. He had whatever, like the little tendon or whatever that might be. He had that severed,
Oh,
so that he also his thing, he could get an erection or whatever, but it would be pointing whatever direction like it didn't have to be. So I assume that he could have also.
well,
Um,
maybe that was him. Maybe that was his street. Maybe he was streaming on a sex site and fucking himself in his own ass. No, that guy didn't have nearly tattoos, the tattoo requirements, and he was probably already dead by then. That was like 2016, 2017 when I delved into the world of sex cam sites because a female friend of mine, sent me a link to her channel on a sex site, and like live webcam sex site,
yeah.
and they were like, you could like look at cams for free, but then you could also like send tokens and things like that. And so the girls on the or couples or guys or whatever on the site would set little mini goals, and so once they collected enough money, they would perform a sex act. And they would have like tiers where they would perform multiple sex acts, or like, once I get to this goal, I'll take my clothes off. Once I get to this goal, I'll masturbate. Once we get to this goal, whatever.
So I'm familiar with
And
the with those sites. Yeah.
so I became fascinated with this, with the culture of sex cam models, and I befriended several girls. That one very notorious girl who was she was a I can't call her a victim of 4chan because she instigated it. She instigated her own doxing on 4chan over and over again. She would dox her own address. She would dox her phone number. She would dox her parents' address. And she just took so much abuse from 4chan. It was like she wanted the maximum amount of attention, whether positive or negative. Because she would have, at one point, I was hanging out with her because she gave me her phone number in private, and I would talk to her on the phone, just me and her. But then she would get on her site, and it would be like 16,000 dudes in her chat room at once, and it was never enough attention.
Nice.
One guy's attention or 16,000 dudes' attention was never enough, and so she would instigate these crazy psychotic breakdowns, and eventually she would turn on everybody. So she turned on me and blocked me, and it like went hysterical on me and blocked me from everything or whatever. And it wasn't through any fault of my own. It's just she was insane and would do that to she would get close to these guys that she would meet on the sex cam site or through 4chan, and then she would try to get real intense with them and real close, and then she would freak out, block them. And then, I came to terms with that a long time ago. But she wasn't the only one. I had several friends like that. But most of the girls on those sex cam sites are pretty fucking psychotic. Are you there, Dr. Ben? You're frozen. Did I freeze or did Dr. Ben freeze? I think Dr. Ben froze. Dr. Ben, if you can hear me.
Okay, you just came back. There it is.
There you go. You're back. Yeah, my relationship with most of those, because I guess any guy that would admit that he goes to a sex cam site would then preface that by saying, "Oh, but I never bought any tokens. And I never paid any sex cam, but I didn't. I never paid any of these models. I wanted to get in their heads, and figure out what their motivation was for doing that kind of stuff, because they all seemed so emotionally unstable. And one of the girls that I followed and liked a lot, she was an anal model that just loved it. I mean, she would just put whatever up her ass. I mean, her day wasn't complete unless something went up her ass.
Huh.
Her name was, I can say her name. I don't want to say the other girl's name because she's doxed herself too much and just gets, probably to this day, gets her. I think she had a kid though. Maybe she backed off of getting herself doxed through 4chan. But there was one webcam girl that I followed. Her name was Sammy Sable, and she only did solo stuff. She never performed with a guy or with another girl. And she was a super super quirky, weird girl. Loved to put stuff up her butt, and then disappeared one day. And I went down the internet rabbit hole, and there's 4chan threads about her. There's Reddit threads about her. She's no one knows whatever happened to her. It's been almost 10 years now. I think it was like 2016 or 2017 she disappeared and has never been heard from since. And the rumor is that she committed suicide. And she did not seem unhappy. I mean, like I said, her day didn't seem complete until something went up her ass. And she was just, super fun to talk to, and, very sexually uninhibited, obviously. And then just fucking like that was gone one day, and never to be seen or heard from again. So I kind of, once that stuff started happening, I backed out. I backed off of trying to befriend sex cam models, because it just seemed like you can't get too attached to them, because they're gonna go crazy on you, or they're gonna disappear. It's not a long-term job.
All right.
The rate of attrition for those kind of people are very quick, usually less than a year, and they've disappeared and tried to change their name and persona, and tried to disappear off the internet. And of course there are those cruel guys that always, because if you look up the name Sammy Sable, you'll find all those videos. They're all archived, because those dudes relentlessly.
Let me interrupt for just a moment, because I did get us onto the YouTube here as well. So
good.
I don't know if we want to. I don't know if there's anyone even going to watch. I guess we're going to find out. But so just for a recap, just for now, the stream starting on my channel as well.
Oh, here we go. All right. Well, let's pretend that we're starting right now. Let's go.
And here we are.
Hey.
I played. Have you seen that AIDS commercial I always play? I played that, and then
Oh, okay.
And then it stopped, and it has fantastically, it has captions along the bottom.
So all that was
Yes, this is fantastic. It's just
good.
I put a link down to kevinthestrange.com, and
Well, thank you.
of course, let me pull up so I can at least get this. But yeah, so that's what I'm saying. We'll just keep going. This is just going to be kind of a wild stream, I guess, because I don't think I've ever done the sharing a thing where I'm on another thing. I don't think I've ever done that before.
Oh,
So
a dual stream. We're crossing the streams.
Crossing the streams, exactly. So, well, maybe, I don't know.
Good to see all of you, Dr. Ben followers and fans. My name is Kevin Strange. I'm a cartoonist. I do, I guess, Neo Underground comics would be a good way to describe what I do, because I've been delving deep, Dr. Ben, delving deep into the history of underground comics. I even bought this nonfiction, this very, very thick nonfiction book called Dirty Pictures: How an Underground Network of Nerds, Feminists, Misfits, Geniuses, Bikers, Potheads, Printers, Intellectuals, and Art School Rebels revolutionized art and invented comics. And so this is very pretentious and very academic telling history of underground comics, and it is hilarious reading his dry prose as he tries to describe Robert Crumb drawing a comic of an entire family fucking each other in incest.
Right.
He tries to no sell it like this stuff is highbrow, art that changed, that revolutionized how.
He's the senior editor at
it,
Reason. Yeah.
it did revolutionize how obscenity laws worked and things like that, but that wasn't the intention of these guys. These guys got high and made fucking pervert fuck tunes. That's all they cared about was how much well, it says dirty pictures, right. like how gross and crazy they could get. And what's cool is, you remember that stream you did that did really well of the Robert Crumb book?
Yeah, of course.
Big Ass Comics.
Comics.
This particular collection that I have, Robert Crumb Volume 8, complete collection from Fantagraphics. This contains the entire Big Ass issue that you showed. So here's that girl being all weird and biting the windowsill, all that weird shit.
And then she bites it, and then she just sticks out like a board. I'm just like, what is that even?
That one down there where she sticks out like a board.
What is that even supposed to mean?
And the one where he fights the Nazi bird woman. Is she an ostrich woman? What is she even? You spent
Amazon ostrich soldiers or something or other.
You spent a lot of time on that on the swastikas.
I thought it was so odd because it was just what does that even have to do?
When I was watching your review of this, which I loved, by the way, I love your commentary over it. Makes it even funnier because you have this mix of being befuddled by it,
right,
enjoying it, wondering what the fucking point of any of it even is. What would drive a man to draw pictures like this? But there was one moment that I thought you undersold that I thought needed to be pointed out, and it's when he grabs her head and shoves it up her own ass. Isn't that what he did?
Yes.
Shoves it up her own ass and then starts riding her, but you kind of no-sold the fact that he was steering her with her own nipples.
Right. Well, at that point, what else?
I just thought that was a great touch that he shoves this bird woman's head up her own ass, and then here he is tweaking the nipple to get a feel for how to drive this woman with her head up her own ass. So it's cartoons like this, and then this dude trying to make it like an academic discussion of like high art. It's not high art at all. And I aspire to be in the conversation with the neo underground, artists with my crazy stuff, that I was showing you in Space Worms here. There's this sequence right here where the main villainess of the piece, she gets the brainworms, and the brainworms, when they take over your brain, they just want to eat other brains. Like they're parasites. They can't just eat all the brains themselves. They have to take over a host. And so she chops off this other girl. This other girl's trying to give a blowjob to our hero Preston, and she ends up. This other girl crawls up and chops her head off, and Preston doesn't realize it, and so he thinks that she's lubing up his dick real good when she's bleeding all over him. And his cuck friend here, Ethan, has been watching and jacking off the whole time. He's naked with his dick out. He's been hiding in the closet back here. Hang on. He's been back here by the closet.
There we go. Oh, that might be the.
And then, and what ends up happening is he opens his eyes and sees her severed head, and it causes him to come in this panel down here. So he sees the head, the severed head, and then he comes. And Ethan, being his best friend and cuck, goes ahead and takes care of the threat. The worms are now out of her head, being crazy, and knocks out the threat. But then immediately starts scolding his friend, like, "How could you come on her after her head got cut off? Like, what kind of sicko are you?" And he's holding her head and he's trying to defend himself. He's like, I panic came. I didn't do it on purpose. And he's like, buddy, there's no such thing as panic coming. And the rest of the book, they have this argument about whether or not her head was still alive. Ethan is suggesting that, because if you're familiar with the French Revolution and all the decapitations from the the guillotine, there was often talk about how long a person remained conscious after their head was lopped off. Some people would say 7 seconds. Some people would say up to 7 minutes. The brain could even live without oxygen.
Roboting a little bit there. I don't know if it's just me.
Oh, you didn't hear that? What I was saying?
Yeah, no, that's. I could hear it was like breaking up, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if it's just my end. I don't know, but yeah, no, I know what you're saying. It stays alive. The head stays alive after being detached from the body for.
It could, yeah. For some people say 7 seconds, some people say 7 minutes. So they start having that conversation, and Ethan starts talking to her, and she's got cum all over her face, by the way. Her, he came on her severed head, and so Ethan's apologizing to the severed head with cum all over it, and Preston's now mad, saying like, "We have this worm invasion. Who cares about her head?" And he's like, "Oh, you're cold. You're mean." It's just, so I try to do my best. Are you there? Can you hear me? You're starting to break up now.
Oh yeah. No, I'm starting to break up. It's contagious.
Am I roboting, or am I back to normal?
It seems basically normal. I think we're all. It's not bad. Okay, there we go.
But as I was saying earlier, before we joined your stream, I can't give these last 6 copies away, and I know it's an economic thing. They're $30. People don't want to drop $30 on a neo underground, outlaw comic fucking fuck book.
But one of the things I think you kind of might be overlooking too is that I don't want to say like that you're like a newbie in comics, like he's just started in comics, because like you've been doing this stuff forever, but you know what I mean, like you're more known as a writer, as a filmmaker.
What I tend to do is I tend to get real comfortable in a space, and then I bail on it. Like right about the time people are like, "Oh, okay, he's legit," then I bail on it and go on to something new. So I'm perpetually the new guy trying to prove myself in a new subculture. And I have been doing these for a long time, but no, I haven't. I've yet to receive the type of accolades for, and maybe never will, for my comics as I have for my fiction and for my films. My fiction is award winning, and my films have won independent movie awards and things like that. My films are distributed through Trauma. I've been published a million times as a novelist and as a bizarro fiction writer, nominated and awarded some of the most prestigious bizarro fiction awards you can get. As a cartoonist, I haven't. It's hard to do. It's hard to break into that kind of stuff, especially when you're doing underground comics. There is no real like the modern neo underground comic scene is guys posting black and white um, offensive perverted pictures on Instagram and getting their accounts deleted over and over again. And they tend to publish in mini zines, mini black and white zines. And I have been published in several. Spread the Love zine, I've been published in twice. And
in the which one?
Spread the Love zine. It's an underground. It's a neo underground comics magazine, and it's just. I'll go grab an issue. Hang on a second.
For sure. That's just me now. Well, I'm going to be working on finishing my drawing of my LeBron James stand-in. That's what I'm gonna do later. I don't know. So I don't know how this is working, and there's like a little bit of a delay. Maybe I don't know how this is working. It's all going. But yeah, no, Kevin Strange, he's all right. And like I had him on. If you're watching this on my channel, or if you're on Kevin Strange's thing, you can come and look at the interview I did with. Or wait a minute, maybe I took that down. No, I don't know.
You took my interview down.
I don't know. Let me look. Let me look real quick. 'Cause I can't. I went well. I did have I went through a crazy period. Where am I? Manage videos. Did I? I don't know. Oh, that's what I should do. Is I should put the link to that in the. I'll just do that. I'll just pretend like that's what I've been doing the whole time. Okay, what is it called? All your. Can you go like full screen on that so I can just see what
this is? Yeah. I'll do that real quick. So this is the Spread the Love zine, and this particular issue of it. Hang on, let me full screen this. This particular issue is called "All You Need Is Spread Love Comics."
Huh. Who's that? What's the publisher name? Or is that because that looks like your stuff on the front?
He calls himself
like
Spread Love Comics Publication is what he calls. Spread Love Comics Publication. And so he gets together all these dudes, these gnarly artists, and here I am. Here's my credit in this issue, Kevin Strange, right there. And I'm in this issue with. I don't know if there's anybody of note in this particular issue, but he has had. You know who Mike Diana is?
Okay.
Oh. Are you familiar with Mike Diana?
That's just like. Yeah, I know about Boiled Angel and all that. He was It's like the only person that was banned from even drawing comics.
Yeah. Convicted of drawing comics. He told he could never draw comics again in the state of Florida. He's not in this particular issue, but he has been. Glenn Head is a pretty big neo underground guy. All these dudes though are on Theo Lodge. He's that's David Lodge. I don't know if Theo Lodge is in this issue or not. Victor Cairo. He's a gnarly dude, but and the cover artist for this was Kyle Killeen. He's the dude that did this. But these are all like Instagram dudes, and so these guys try to publish this gnarly shit on Instagram and get banned all the time. I don't know why they don't publish on X. I mean, I know it's only been established that.
Yeah,
I mean, porn has always been allowed on X though. Like none of this stuff would get banned from there, but these people are like really left leaning, most of them, and they can't stand Elon Musk because he's not a communist, I guess. So they would rather sit and get zucked for publishing this stuff. Um, Here's a nice ass comic. I'm not sure what is happening here. Can you see this? Can you see this snake guy in this ass?
Okay.
And then there's like stairs that lead up to the ass, and then is that a eyeball in the asshole that like melts him? Not sure what's happening.
They all do.
Don't they all? Is this Glenn Head? I think this might be.
Oh, that looks like.
No, this is Chet.
Okay.
What's Chet's?
Well, it looks like that Dexter Cockburn is the other guy that reminds me of too.
Yeah, he's in this a lot. I don't even see credit for anyone named Chet. There's a C, Han, or Haven. It's hard to tell with the font. That might be him. But yeah, this is a blowjob. Nice blowjob in the final shot there. It's pretty good. As a guy who's drawn a lot of blowjobs, I would give that
of course.
a B plus.
Yeah, you can't. Right.
Llamas
for eyes.
It's still going.
It's still going. Right. Well, that was. I mean, it was kind of like mid blowjob on the last one there.
Mid coitus. And it runs the gamut of all kinds of different styles and everything. But basically, to get involved in the new underground, you have to get hooked up with these Instagram dudes and get published in their zines like this. So I am a published cartoonist, which is cool.
Let's see.
Somewhere here is my. I think I'm after the. Oh, that's nice. Can you tell what's happening there, Doctor? You are the PhD of comics. Can you decipher what's happening here?
Looks like she's trying to realign a hemorrhoid, perhaps.
Well, it's funny as it says her superpower is fisting her ass. Look at her arm here. She's just into it.
One arm is just jacked. That's just like all she does.
I guess from fisting her own asshole, she's developed this total. Some of my Facebook followers are watching this right now, going, "This is obscene. This is obscene. Degenerates, you're all degenerates." But these guys, what's funny is these guys get.
What are you guys looking at?
This is Mondo Groovy. I like this guy's stuff a lot. I follow him on Instagram. It's funny, they get zucked so often and cry about it, but they won't go, "Oh, that's a cool one pager." A. Cohen.
Wow. Wish I'd done better, but I did my best. I like that. That's
pretty cool. Where am I? Oh, there's me. He gave me a one pager.
Excellent. Right.
It's called the Cum Garden. And it's actually a prequel to Space Worm, so I'm glad I went and got this out. Very rare. Most people don't even know that there is a prequel to Space Worms. But Ethan and Preston go out. They're jacking off together at the at this pond, and it turns out that when they come in the pond, oh no, this is a two pager. This is a two pager. This cum princess comes like the lady of the lake, but the lady of the cum pond comes out and grants wishes, and she sees that it's Ethan again, and she's like, "No, anybody but you come here all the time. You fucking came on me so many times," and she's like, "Please, Annie, don't." She's like pleading with Preston. She's like, "Please, God, just wish for anything." Other than, don't let this guy wish on me. And he's like, all right, just do whatever you want. She's like, anything? He's like, yeah. So she blows her brains out, and you can see this dick flying into the because it's a pom-pom. So instead of like lily pads, there's penis pads. And so then, yeah, that's the dick plops onto Preston's head. So that's my my contribution to the Cum
Nice.
Garden.
Nice.
My contribution to
Okay.
the All You Need Is Love zine.
I like it.
But all right, let me get out of the full screen. These degenerates. Let's go back to
Look at what they're doing on there. That's why we don't want those guys in the mainstream. They'd be putting extra dicks on Spider-Man, and 2 is enough. Doesn't need any more than that.
I've been really, it's been burning my fucking ass that I spent so long doing a 164 page comic and can't fucking sell them to save my life. It's a lot of work, extremely work heavy. A lot went into it, and so I was like, all right, motherfuckers. So I sat down, and for like the last 3 months, dude, I've been writing book after book after book, but then cutting them all down into 22-page issues. So if people aren't interested in dropping the whole 30 and buying a 164-page graphic novel, then I'm going to go back to the beginning. Because when I first put comics out through crowdfunding, I did Dead Shit as 3 30-page issues. Well, I'm going to do them as 22-page issues now and do as many as it takes. In this book that I'm working on, the first book I finished all these scripts and I broke everything down into 22-page issues. So I'm hooked up for the next year plus, all written, all paneled out, all ready to go. All I have to do is draw them. And so I've been working on the first new book in the new era that's going to be split into issues. No longer graphic novels. Motherfuckers don't want to buy graphic novels from me. Maybe they'll pay $8 on crowdfunding and buy single issues from me. Maybe not. Maybe I can go fuck myself altogether. But we're gonna try a new little direction here. And so this is some of the pencil pages from the first issue of the new book. And the new book is called The Wizard of Ganj. And this is the first time I'm talking about this publicly. This is, if you've been following Strangeville for a long time, which is my universe of Strangeville, Illinois, is the town that all my stuff is set in. Right. You will know that since as far back as 20 years ago in the movies, people wondered how Nixon and Hogan, the stoner duo that's like my Jay and Silent Bob or Cheech and Chong or whatever, right, how they get the best weed in Strangeville called Colombian smokeweed. Well, the Wizard of Ganj is finally going to reveal where the Colombian smokeweed comes from. And so we open up here with Nixon huffing some nitrous. Are you familiar with huffing nitrous, Dr. Ben?
Not anymore.
You ever done whippets before?
Of course, yes.
So he's doing whippets here, and this girl's texting him. And in this text, it's going to say, I shared you pictures of my butthole. Share me pictures, send me pictures of yours. And that's the picture of her butthole that she had just sent him. So he's like, damn, this bitch. All right, I will. And so he loads up a picture of his own asshole to send off to this girl. And he keeps hitting this nitrous, and he's all fucked up on the nitrous. And he's laying here all fucking tweaked. You know how nitrous is. Wow, 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 wow. Just gets you all stupid fucked up. So he's all stupid fucked up on the nitrous. And she keeps dinging him and trying to talk to him. And he just keeps hitting the nitrous. And then he realizes he's looking at his phone all fucked up on nitrous. And he realizes, hey, my asshole is pretty nice. I got a nice asshole. And so he's starting to rub his crotch. He decides, yeah, I'm going to jack off to my own asshole. So he whips the dong out. And right at that moment, Hogan shows up. And of course, because this is a sort of the standard, Nixon does something weird. Hogan busts in and catches him doing it. So he's like, oh my God, are you jacking off to your own asshole? That's the weirdest thing I've ever seen you do. And he's like, I ain't ashamed of it. And he shows.
Yeah, I don't know if that would that technically be be gay or not? I don't know.
These are
Like,
questions
because
I like to
it's
make. Is his own asshole? It's massive.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
these are the questions I like
it,
to make my audience ask themselves. So here he is with he's bitching that because Hogan was supposed to come over with the Colombian smoke weed, and so Nixon's bitching like, man, I've been having to huff this shit, making myself retarded enough to jack off to my own asshole. Where's my smoke weed? I just want to get high. And Hogan tells him like, well, there's a problem, dog. See that magical weed tree we always go pick up because this is the first time they've ever talked about where they get it from. He's like, that magical tree where it just appears out of thin air. That's where I get it from. He's like, I was walking through the woods, and there it was, that magical bag of Colombian smokeweed right at the magic weed tree. It's a tree that's got buds growing off it, and next to it, big bushes made of weed. It's like weed is just like growing up around this magic tree. He's like, these strange little hands came out and grabbed the bag, and I fought him. I grabbed the bag. You'd be proud of me, Nixon. I was tug of war back and forth, and I almost had the little dude, but he was a strong little fucker. And at this point, Nixon's like, "Are you hallucinating right now, Hogan? What are you fucking talking about?" And he's like, "No, listen, dog. He pulled me in. He pulled me into the tree, but I wasn't in no tree anymore. I was in a magical land. I was in Weed World." And this is the reveal.
Oh yeah,
of
nice.
This is the Weed Wizard, the Wizard of Ganj, fighting
The
Hogan
Wizard
over
of
his bag
Weed.
of magical Colombian smokeweed. And here we see the rolling hills and triple suns and magic mushrooms with faces on them, and weed plants as large as trees growing off of all this stuff. So that's our big reveal there. And then the Weed Wizard 1 grabs the Colombian smokeweed, grabs a couple of nugs, and tosses them out as he flies away. He's plopping on the ground, watching him.
Excuse me.
And then Nixon's like, "Will you get to the fucking point? I'm almost out of fucking, whips here, and I don't want to be fucking sober. Where's my smokeweed?" He's like, "I'm trying to finish my story, dog." And that's where we've gotten to. And now I have the rough layouts, but I have to work on the pencils for the rest of the issue.
Nice.
So that's the story. That's the and it's going to be about I believe this is going to be a 4 or 6 issue series because motherfuckers don't want to buy them as big fucking graphic novels from me anymore. So I'll do them one issue at a time, and I'll crowdfund every one of those bitches. It'll take a fucking I'll be releasing them for a goddamn year. Let me bust out of here now. There we go. Back to here. So that's my current project, Wizard of Ganj. I'm in the pencil phase, as you can. I don't know. Have you ever seen me work on pencils before, Dr. Ben?
Ever seen which one?
Have you ever seen me work on pencils? It's actually
nice because I can look at a pencil. What?
The pencils. The pencil phase. This is pencil. Have you ever seen me do my pencils?
You keep like cutting out just as you're like. No, I think I've only seen like a little bit of your actual artwork. I think. Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. Like it's because it's. What was it the last time I was here where we were talking? It might have been then that I saw some of you showed off some of your stuff. Because like up until then, I thought you were always. I always thought you were just did. Just like digital art. I thought,
yeah.
And then, but you're all of Space Worms is all on like traditional. It's all done traditionally or whatever.
Well, the pencils are, and then the inking is all.
Was that a question? I don't even know if that.
Yeah, I do everything.
I do the
statement. I do the pencil process traditionally, and then I do the inking and the coloring and lettering digitally. But I do them really tight, obviously. Like this is exactly what the inks are going to look like. Like I make sure that there's nothing left to the imagination for the inks. And a lot of people would they would prefer to like ink like ink this stuff that's like very loose. Here, let me blow it up again for you. Am I still roboting and fucking dropping out?
It comes and goes. It's weird. Like I'm not sure what. It's probably just the weather
See
or
how
whatever.
loose
But
these
yeah, it
pencils
comes and
are?
goes. Right. Right.
Some people would be more
Yeah.
comfortable just
Once.
inking on that. I like to ink on this, so there's
Yeah.
just no
That's.
question. There's just I don't have to think. Like all the hard work for me goes into it's actually the hardest thing for me is the layouts. Like doing these layouts and getting everything looking, uh, balanced, and the depth, making sure there's good depth, making sure there's good balance, making sure these are good compositions. That's what's hard for me. Once I get the composition down like that panel right there, those are ganja gremlins, Dr. Ben. Those little nugs that the weed wizard threw out, they grow arms and legs and angry mouths, and they start trying to eat Hogan. Ganja gremlins. But once I get that composition down, um, then the pencils are easier, and then the inks are just nothing. Like the inks are, I can literally sit and watch TV or watch movies and ink and not even think about it because all I'm doing, it's really just tracing. All that effort goes into the pencils.
Hmm,
That's my process. Everybody
hmm.
does it. Everybody makes their comics
Well,
differently. I bought
have you
this
tried just taking your pencils and then just like
darkening them.
basically just messing with the color values on them?
I have, and I didn't like the results were inconsistent. Not all
Okay.
they wouldn't, the value wouldn't. By the time I busted it all out to where it was a stark black line, there wasn't there was too much feathering and noise in it. It wasn't a solid black line anymore. So because it is kind of a wasted process, right? I draw everything out in pencil and then I just trace over it with ink, so it's like a wasted process. But for me, when I was first starting out, it was what gave me it's what gave me the confidence to keep going because I was so I had so little self confidence in my abilities as a cartoonist, that I needed to know that if I could do it in the pencil process, then I could definitely do it in the ink process. And
Yeah.
I've just kind of stuck to that, and I think about that all the time. Like I don't need to do that anymore. I could take those roughs, scan those, and ink over them, and have pretty much the same result.
Wait, you could do what?
I could scan the
You
layout.
could do what? You just
I could scan the layout and ink over
okay.
that and skip the whole process because I have everything drawn here.
Right, but
And
you like you get it. Well, you get your pencils tighter rather than staying at that like that loose stage because that's like the ones where you said it was loose. That's where I would go from. You know what I mean? Like
right,
that's what I usually do. Is I'm like real. I don't put in too many details, and I just try to just make sure all the shapes where I want them, and like, and I try to do everything in ink that way. Because you're saying like basically the same thing. Like you're saying, are you what is that?
so I
Wait a
do the
minute.
entire comic as a 3x5 note card, and I sketch out.
Oh, okay. I'm like, wait, you're drawing. Why are you drawing so small? How?
This is
How are
how
you?
I this. So this is the entire comic, or the first 22 pages or whatever. But this is that page I just showed you. I'll go back to the big page and show you. You know,
Okay. So those are like your thumbnails, basically. I
so yeah,
see.
so I thumbnail the
Okay.
entire comic out, and then I blow it up and pencil it completely finished. Like that might as well be the inks. Then I ink over that. So I go one, and then the layout is two, the pencil is three, the ink is four. 4 layers before I've got my inks down. And really, these days, I could probably scan
Okay.
this and ink over it. Like I could go 1, 2 and cut out these two processes, but I still just I have that
Right,
this
right.
crutch of doing these real tight pencils so that I know that it works. Like when I look at that bottom panel, Hogan in the foreground, the wizard flying, dropping the buds, and these rolling hills in the
Right.
background. I know that composition works. Now, does that look any different? It's the same thing. I could go straight to ink from there, I think, and skip all this. This isn't necessary anymore. But I don't know. That's just my crutch, man.
Hmm.
And you said
Like,
you go for
I feel like I'm like stuck in a weird like time tunnel because like I keep I'll look at there's like a delay when it onto the like the big screen. So I'll be like watching that and then you're talking and I'm like, wait, what? Oh, what's going on? Oh shit.
So you were saying you go from loose pencils to inks. Is that what you were saying? Your
Yeah,
process?
let me see if I can grab my hold on. Okay, I think this is well, let me make sure real quick here too. What's this?
Now you're
That
roboting
might
and
be too
breaking up.
much
What's
for
up
it.
with this
That's
connection?
yeah, I think that's me because I tried to look up I tried to look it up on the iPad too. Let me see if I've got like some thumbnails I could show you, and then I can just show you like the page. This might not be my. Um, well, this will kind of show you. Flip my camera around here too. Oh, not that. Settings. That. You gotta go to the back camera. Okay. Oh, you're gonna have to bear with me just a second while I try and screw this thing around to the right direction. Okay. So that's basically like what my thumbnails would be. You know what I mean? Like just the simplest of like
Yeah.
shapes, you know. And then the other thing is I don't really work. It's not like I have anything like completed. You know what I mean? Like probably the best thing here would be just to do a handheld version here. So that's what I'm saying. Like that. This the end goal for this is to basically be my big knight guy with his cross armor and
Right.
everything. He's got wings, so I'm gonna do like a riff on like that Zeppelin angel or
Right.
whatever that thing. Do that there, but yeah, like this is the two of them are way off in the sky fighting, and this is the cat lady down here. That's what I'm saying. That's usually about as details I'll go on my pencils. That's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
my pencils are just they're
It
just
looks a little more refined than my roughs, but not obviously not nearly as tight as my pencils. It looks like you go about halfway.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's because it's the same thing like you're talking about how like it's like you're doing like the same thing over and over and with for me like inking is like my favorite part. So oh yeah, that's what I could show. So I was gonna show it. Anyways, is this is Jabroni Lames. I guess it's hard to get like a whole view of the picture of that, but I gotta draw the horse part of him. I left the hard part for last.
That's
So
amazing.
It's just gonna be, you know, like LeBron James, but like if he was a
He was a My Little Pony
centaur. Yeah, like a yeah, basically like a My Little Pony centaur kind of person. Like he's you know, I have a certain personal vendetta against LeBron. Yeah, after you know, he came back, you know, he was here, he busted out here, and you know, that's where he got his fame, and then he did that whole goofy thing with fucking choosing the hats. Well, where are you gonna go? And they had all those hats. He's like, I'm gonna have to pick the hat of the team I'm gonna go to, and like, you know, like I was like, all right, well, you know, he wants to do his own thing, and he went down to Miami or whatever. But then he came back up to Cleveland, and when he came back, he was like, well, he's like, Cleveland is where I am gonna retire. This is where I'm gonna finish my career, is in Cleveland, and I'm gonna get, you know, I want to give Cleveland a championship. Right. You know, like that was his. I came back to give you all a championship. You know, that doesn't even. I don't know LeBron James's voice, but I don't know if you're like I'm not really like a basketball fan. I'm more just.
No, I don't like sports. I don't like fall sports. I follow mixed martial arts. That's the only.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah, I've got. Well, see, he did the first year back. He didn't win the championship. You know, they got to the championships, the finals versus Golden State, and you know they lost. I can't remember. It wasn't. It was like it was. I don't want to say like contentious, but like, you know, it was like good games for the first year, and then the second year. It seems like they went all the way to Game 7. I think. Because, like, you know how, like, they, with, I'm not going to look up sports stats. What am I thinking? I'm not going to get crazy here. Never looked up sports stats. I'm not going to start now. But the second year back, that's when they won, and they beat Golden State, and they won the finals. And everybody was just so happy, and you know, thank you, LeBron, thank you for coming back. Now we got a championship. I think it was maybe like Cleveland had never had a major sports championship since, like, you know, the 1800s or whatever, you know. But it wasn't, you know, the second year finals, and it was against the same team. It was against Golden State. Like, Golden State was just insane, but it was like a tough battle. You know what I mean? Like, because I think it's like best 4 out of what, you know. It's the same way with like a baseball game. You know, like you have like the best 3 out of 5 or something. Best 3 out of 5 games is the winner, unless I don't know what would make it. But it's the same thing with like basketball. You know, so if you win the first 3 games or 4 games or whatever it is, then, you know, it's over. They don't keep playing so that the other team has a chance to lose and not be able to ever make it, because it's, I guess it must be best 4 out of 7. I don't know.
I think that's what it is, because they do Game 7. There's a lot of like when you're watching sports documentaries or whatever, they talk about, or, you know, when it comes to basketball, they're always like, and it went to Game 7, so it must be good. That's 5 out of 7.
Exactly. And then they took it all the way. They went all the way to Game 7. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. That was the second year back, and they had to go all the way to Game 7. And then the third year, it was, you know, for the finals, it was, you know, Cavs and Golden State again, and Golden State just demolished them. I mean, it was just bad. Like, they were just, there wasn't no going to Game 7 or nothing like that. It was just
over quick.
Yes. It was whatever, you know, three. It must have been 4 games. I think 4 games or 5 games. I think they might have. Cleveland might have won one. I don't even think they did though. It seems like it was just over. Because I remember like it being over and just being like, shit, that's it. Damn, we got smoked. Like the Cleveland or the Golden State guys, you know, like you're familiar with like with basketball. There's like the two, you know, you throw the ball into the basket and it's 2 points. But if you're past that certain line or whatever, it'll be 3 points instead, right? Because it's the 3 point line, a field goal or whatever.
You got to remember, Dr. Ben, I'm a child of the 80s and 90s. So there was a point in history where the Chicago Bulls and Michael Jordan were the most popular thing in the world. So when I was in junior high, yeah, there you couldn't fucking spit and not see.
You were in Illinois then too.
Yeah, so I'm very familiar with basketball. I just don't like it.
Okay. So yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
I know how to play the game. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that's what I'm saying. Golden State, like every guy on the team was like, could just drop 3-pointers, just all day, just anytime, right. Just do, and sink them too. You know, like every guy on their team, they get to like pass a halfway point in the court and they'd be like, bloop. I'm like, right. What the fuck? And like Cleveland is just like getting slaughtered. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like the third finals that they played, it was just, I wouldn't say like embarrassing, but it was just definitely like, damn, those guys play a lot better than us. And like that's right. the other 2 times we faced them, they were playing like this as well. It's kind of like, it almost felt like the second year was kind of like Golden State just being like, okay, well, yeah, we won't really push it. You could win one, but then when they came back for that third year, it was like, okay, let's make sure we understand who's who here. Like, you're not playing. You don't shoot 3-pointers. Like, your guys suck. Like,
and you're putting that blame on LeBron?
Yes, it is all his fault, is what I'm saying. So
he's a brony jabroni, is what you're trying to say?
What? Because then he left. They lost that third year.
Oh, he left after that?
And then he went to the fucking Lakers. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, why? And then he just went to the Lakers? What the fuck? Like, I thought you were going to retire here in Cleveland because this is your fucking, right. He's from Akron or whatever, you know. And it was like, no. It's off to, and I'm like, what is even the point? Like, you're not, because now that's what I'm saying is like LeBron's getting, he's not old, but you know what I'm saying? Like, now he's getting up there. Right. And then he was, let's see, he was like 2016. He was all, I think he did some kind of thing for Hillary back then too. Like he was getting in on all the whole, you know, like celebrities getting into politics and being like, you like me in my movies, so you should also like my political opinion. It's this.
Right. My completely out of touch political opinion.
Right. I
haven't bought my own milk in 15 years, but let me tell you about why Democrat policies.
If you don't agree with us.
You know what I want to hear about, Dr. Ben?
Sir?
I want you to tell me about this Comicsgate drama.
About the what?
The Comicsgate drama. I don't follow it, so I don't know what's going on.
Oh, okay. So, well, so you, a lot of the stuff lately has been, you know who Eric July is as well.
Yeah, we talked about Eric, and we talked about.
My memory is not. It's not
last
good.
Time we What'd you say?
Well, my memory is not good. As
oh yeah, we talked about them both. I said I don't understand the Eric July hate because he puts his comic books out. People get really upset by that fact. And then we talked about Ethan not finishing his books. He's got what is that? Rainbow the Brute. That's like 3 years late.
That's what I've heard. That's what I've heard. And I'll be honest, it looks like a funny book, but it doesn't look like what I would expect to see from Ethan. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't seem like his style at all. Like, Cyber Frog is like a post-apocalyptic kind of thing, and like all the stuff he did. Green Lantern obviously is just fucking Green Lantern, and X-Men. You know what I mean? Like, all his stuff is all kind of like traditional, superhero-y kind of stuff, apocalyptic stuff, and then he's doing a book about like a little like toy-sized fairy guy. It's like, what? Okay, well, but so the latest thing is that now there is a rift between Eric July and apparently the rest of Comicsgate. But Eric is not Comicsgate. He's always been like, I'm not Comicsgate, I'm Rippaverse.
Right.
And he took exception to some of the criticisms that were leveled at his at ISOM, right? Or at the first issue, and then I think people are saying they don't like the second one, or they do, or whatever.
Right.
And so they've been going back and forth, and there was apparently a thing where he told Ethan, he's like, look, you can't also be saying my book isn't good or this or that. You can't be saying that kind of stuff, or else I'll come back at you, I'll reciprocate. And Ethan like shared that for some reason. That was like a private mess, or it was a text message. He sent him a text message of that, like, don't be talking bad about ISOM, or else I'm gonna reciprocate talking to shit or whatever.
Right.
And then it all, I think it was last week or the week before, there was another fella, Yellow Flash. Apparently Yellow Flash has got a really big YouTube channel where he has like 100,000, 200,000 like one of those huge channels.
Yeah, he's a YouTube grifter.
And
every video is comics is over! Exclamation point.
They're all bad, but I'm gonna. So he also all of a sudden, what did he do? Oh, he put out he had asked Ethan to do a cover, because that Yellow Flash guy is also doing his own comic, of course. He asked Ethan to do a cover, and he thought he asked for too much money, and so he like got mad at him.
How much did he want?
Wanted like $4 or $5 grand for the cover, I think.
4 or 5 grand? I mean, he commands those kind of prices.
Well, that is the thing. He's like,
if you were going to say 10,000, I would have told you Ethan's crazy. But 4,000 for a cover, that's not out of the question.
It's gonna get, an additional.
He's going to make more than $4,000. He's going to make more than $4,000 on his crowdfunder for having an Ethan Van Sciver cover.
Exactly. And then he made that public. That was the thing. Is that then like this Yellow Flash was, he said, this is what Ethan wanted. This is ridiculous. Blah blah blah. And I think he blocked him, and there was on Twitter. You know how they have communities on Twitter, where it's like a group where you could post all the stuff. Yellow Flash was the admin or the owner or whoever. He was the one who was in charge of the Comicsgate community on Twitter, and he closed it, just erased it.
He killed the Comicsgate community. How many people were in it? Tens of thousands?
Like a couple. I don't think it was like tens of thousands, but a couple thousand. And they're all, and they're all angry with Ethan. And so then that's the latest thing, is that they were, I think Ethan went over, he did a review of ISOM and like broke down what was good and what was bad, what didn't work, and like, and a lot of people have been pointing out that like in ISOM, it it very much looks like there was a lot of like 3D assets used,
Sure.
and not, like you. I don't think there's a problem using 3D assets as long as like you're using it and you're like then you're going over it, like inking over it, and you put your own little bits of, if it's a house, you change the tech, you put your own little touches on it and stuff.
Right.
And that was not the case with the 3D assets they were using in the ISOM. Like
They just
they had
seem
a
to be direct.
yeah, it looked like, and they were, people were sharing pictures, and it did look pretty, like not the whole book, but there was a couple pages or panels or whatever, like one with like a truck that just
Yeah.
it was just, you could tell it was just straight up out of like SketchUp or some sort of like,
Sure.
and it was just, it didn't have any kind of like flair on it. Just it looked like something out of like a catalog. Like,
Right.
you can get this truck. Here's a picture of it. It looked just like, I'm like, oh, okay. And there was a house. People have been like rightfully making fun of that because like Eric has talked a lot about how great his comics would be and this and that, and he's going to do everything better. And then if you end up instead, like that's what I'm saying. It does seem like kind of a something you could have like prevented if you had put in more editorial work or something or other. And then they were somehow they were both supposed to go on to Alex Stein's show tonight, but it was like someone else, like Alex Stein, whoever was running Alex Stein's show, had not like told both of them, Ethan and Eric, like, hey, why don't you both come on here and debate? But like they like contacted them separately, like, hey, why don't you come on the show? And they're like, okay. Why don't you come on the show? He's like, oh, okay, but didn't tell them like, hey, you're going to be both on at the same time. And
Okay.
then like they were posting today, tonight we're going to have the Comics Gate battle, Eric versus Ethan. And
that was news to them.
right. Well, Ethan knew he was going on, but he's like, this whole thing. He's like, I woke up at, I rested beforehand. I got up at 6 and I see all these people saying that we're going to be debating and battling. And I'm like, what? And Eric declined to debate.
He backed out.
Yes.
What was his reasoning?
Um,
That he didn't get told in advance?
then he said that it was because management told him that he couldn't, or that he shouldn't.
He is
Eric,
the man.
Eric July is also somehow associated with the Blaze, like the Blaze channel or whatever that Alex Stein is on. Like it was what Glenn Beck's channel, the Blaze,
Sure.
and Glenn Beck is gone by now. He's years away from it. But so management from the Blaze told him, no, we can't have you on here fighting each other, which
Okay.
I don't know. Seems so that's what I'm saying. It's always but that's what I'm saying. It does seem like very on Eric's part to like not debate, because like if you've ever watched like much like Eric's channel, he's always debating. Like he would debate like detractors from like his chat, or like on Twitter, like if someone says something again, like, oh, your book sucks or you suck or whatever, he'll always like engage with them. Like
Right.
it's especially if it's like people with like 20 followers, or people that are just joined, or what, what I mean, like,
Yeah. Real little dudes. He loves to.
yeah, so not a real good look. The whole thing. That's what I'm saying. That's what I was watching. Ethan was on there talking about all this and going over all of it, and it's like watching a soap opera.
Well, I saw one dude say something like, I follow a couple of peripheral accounts that are associated with Comicsgate, and all I
Okay.
really see him post is, "Why are we always fighting, guys? Let's not fight. Oh, this is a family." And that's been going on. I've been following Comicsgate since 2017, 2018. Whenever the controversy with your boy Zach,
Right.
when he was kicked, when he had was
The
it
Antarctic.
Anarchy Express?
Yep. Antarctic
that
Press.
that was my introduction to Comicsgate. So it's been a long, long time, and these guys will come along every couple of years, put on the fucking T-shirt, and act like they've been fucking Comicsgate. Are you there?
Yeah, yeah. I gotta stoke the stove over here. So yeah.
Act like they've been down all along, and then act shocked the first time they run into some of this fucking Comicsgate drama. The whole thing started with drama, has always been drama, and always will be drama. And these nerds crack me up, and they act like this isn't Comicsgate. We're a family. Like, what do you think this is, dude? It's a whole grifter fucking. Uh, it's a whole grift in the first fucking place. Like, the whole idea is to get drama drummed up on these live streams and convince people that back my book, not that guy's book, or back my book, not the don't buy mainstream comics, and then we're gonna own the enemy. And that's just how it's always been. That's how Ethan has built Comicsgate. That's the entire mechanism of Comicsgate is internet drama, flame or what do you call it? Blood sports arguments. Uh, you know that
Yeah.
Cecil book, Cash Grab, along with the main book that has never come out. You were also supposed to get this ash can called Tapeworm Doug or something like that, and that was
Oh,
because
Dirtworm Doug. Yeah, yeah.
Dirtworm Doug, because they had a falling out with Doug Snaple around that time, and the big drama at that time, the Eric July of that moment was Doug Snaple, and they kicked him out of Comicsgate and all this drama surrounding him, and so it cracks me up when these new dudes that have only been around a year or two. They don't think they don't understand that this happens all. There's always an Eric July or a Doug Snaple or a. You remember when it was Tim Lim and Brett? What was Tim's partner's name?
I don't know.
Brett,
That was before my time.
yeah, well, they had their own. They did because Brett and Tim did Trump's Space Force, and Ethan at the time was saying, "Oh, that's too on the nose. You can't do politics. Like the whole point of Comicsgate is that we're taking the politics out of comics, and basically kicked them out of Comicsgate." And the Tim Lim side people said the same thing that Eric July is saying right now, which is where Eric got it from. And Eric's kind of his whole stance on this thing. I guess I know more about this than I thought I did.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I follow some of it, but also like like I said, I don't have a good memory, or at least what I mean. Like and like I get to the point with different. If I don't know who let's say a creator is, like the Tim Lim fella, I've never seen anything from that. You know what I mean? Like I have no idea who he is at all. So it's hard for me to be like, yes, no, you know what I mean? Like,
well, that's the thing with the drama is it's just the drama. Like it doesn't matter who's right. There's no right or wrong. It just is what it is. It drums up interest and it gets you backers.
squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Tim and Brett were really successful with their Trump Space Force, in part because it was a Trump thing around 2016, 2017, but also because of the Comicsgate drama that they drummed up. And Doug Tenaple made a fuck ton of money on his crowdfunders. You know, he raised over $1 million for his first Earthworm Jim book that he put out, and almost all of that stuff is thanks to the drama that they drum up around each other. So I guess I think of it like pro wrestling. Like if you really think that there's an Eric versus Ethan thing going on here, I got news for you. They're just making money. They really, true. At the end of the day, they're just making money. Like, this is good for both of them. It really is. It's good for both their brands to have this feud.
Right.
Just like it was for everyone that came before it, before them. So I don't begrudge Ethan or Eric in this instance. I did one of those little ancillary guys. Are you putting wood in the stove right now?
Yeah.
One of those little ancillary guys. I saw him pretty concisely say the current Comicsgate drama boils down to the guys that like books on time versus the guys that like books to be good. So whereas Ethan's making the argument that too many 3D assets were used and the art's cheesy and it's generic. The opposite side people go, okay, where's your Rainbow Brute book? Like you're late on everything. Like why you're criticizing the quality of his book, but you don't accept criticisms of the lateness of your books. And so it's Comicsgate has devolved into this group of guys that says, well, I don't care if comics are late. I want them to be good no matter how long they take. Versus guys that go, I just want my books. I don't care that he used 3D assets. I'm reading it for the story. Like it doesn't have to be perfect art. And so you've got this kind of civil war going here between lateness and goodness, quality versus timeliness. Which is, and again, I think at the end of the day, everybody wins. Like I don't think there's a good guy and a bad guy in that argument. I think that.
Yeah, I mean that's how like I don't, like I didn't. I'll be honest, I liked Eric July's just his presentation. You know what I mean? Like when he was like first running the his Kickstarter, or not Kickstarter, but the Ice on One or whatever the campaign or whatever you want to call it. And he's like, it's not a crowdfunder, it's a pre-order or something or other. It's
right.
But I liked just just his energy. Like I looked at the comic and I was like, this does not look like.
Yeah, I didn't buy it. I don't like superhero stuff, so it's not something that I'm. And it is generic looking.
Exactly.
Let's be honest. It is generic looking art, but beyond the generic looking part of it, like I don't like superhero stuff either. Like indie superhero stuff. No, I don't even like mainstream superhero stuff. You'll never catch me buying a Captain America, comic book.
What's wrong with Captain America?
Nothing.
What?
I just don't like it.
No,
personally, I don't like superhero stuff. So it's hard enough to get me to try to get me interested in some mainstream superhero thing when these guys keep making up these 90s nostalgia indie superhero guys. I'm like, no thanks. I bought the amount of books I backed that were hero oriented, maybe I don't know, 2, 3, versus when indie guys do like horror comics or underground comics,
right,
or outlaw comics. Those are the ones I back. I've backed a ton of outlaw indie comics and stuff like that. I just don't do the superhero stuff. So the quote unquote Rippaverse, whatever, and he's got the Soska sisters working for him now on a book. The next Rippaverse book is theirs,
right,
that they wrote.
Are they?
And I like them a lot. They're the ones that wrote and directed Dead Hooker in a Trunk and American Mary, and they did that Kane movie, Kane from WWE, See No Evil.
Oh, okay.
I think they did the sequel.
That was a while ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was probably 10 years ago now. They did part 2, and then I think they did a Cronenberg remake. Was it Shivers that they remade?
Oh, well, that's not bad.
I'm not sure. They remade a Cronenberg movie, but I haven't seen it yet. But they're horror girls, and for whatever reason, they're writing in the Rippaverse superhero universe. So, I might back that just because I like them.
Right. Well, what do you think about like like Swamp Thing or like Hellblazer, like John Constantine? Like, is that?
I like that stuff. I collect Hellboy comics. I mean, I guess you can call him a superhero, but it's more, Hellboy's more like folk horror
Right,
and
right. Yeah, he's
and stuff like Hellblazer
okay.
and Swamp Thing and the like. That stuff's cool. I like that stuff. Like anything dark with monsters and things
Okay,
like that.
that's why I wonder if that's what they're gonna try and do with the Saska sisters thing, because
I don't think
it's.
so. I think it's just a fucking superhero girl.
I mean, because you can take like a superhero kind of character and do, like dark stories or whatever. But if you're not real good with writing, or if you're just too focused on like it being a superhero, it'll suck. But I mean, that was like the whole
Yeah,
Vertigo line, right? I mean, they had
for
other
sure.
stuff, but like they had like Phantom Stranger, like that was in the
Right.
Vertigo line, and obviously Constantine or Hellblazer or Swamp Thing, Shade the Changing Man, like there's like the original version of Shade the Changing Man is like, I think looks stupid and like uninteresting, but like the Vertigo one, I was always like, yeah, that's cool. I don't know. I could never figure out what was going on in the comic, but I always liked the look of it. And like I've read issues, and it's like I said, I never know what's going on, but at least it looks nice. It seems
Right.
it seems like something's going on. Like you read it, and it's like, okay, there's people talking, and they seem, it all seems like good writing or whatever. But that's what I'm saying. Is like I could see if they're like horror directors and whatnot, these Saska sisters. I could see if they're doing something, kind of like on that level, like
Yeah.
The Ripper versus version of Vertigo is, from those girls or whatever.
It'd be very
But
cool.
I don't even know if that's what it is. I don't know.
I don't think it is, but it would be cool. I mean, maybe they'll listen to this stream and realize that they've got that on their hands there. They should. That's what they should be writing. But I don't think they are. I think it's just part of the Rippaverse. I think it's just like some chick that hangs out with ice on them.
Huh. But that's what I'm saying though. Kind of like how you're with superheroes. I like some stuff, but it doesn't really excite me. Like I see all the people. This is a classic superhero. Okay. And that's what I mean with ISOM and the Rippaverse stuff. I was like, this isn't really my thing. It looked okay, kind of generic looking, but sometimes generic stuff can be fun too. But I don't know, like with just all fighting back and forth. I guess it does. Oh well, if you haven't followed it, do you know anything about the Clippaverse? There's this other guy. I think his name is Riley, right? And he apparently he would send super chats to Eric July, and with whatever his complaints or criticisms were of the ISOM comic, and Eric would never read them. And this angered this Riley fella, so he started doing all this satirical stuff where he created. Well, he said he was gonna find Eric, and he was gonna bring a pair of clippers and clip all of the hair off his shoulders.
Oh God!
Because he does
yeah, he's got very hairy shoulders.
I don't know why. It seems like an odd thing. Like why wouldn't I don't know why you would specifically wear tank tops to like show off your hairy shoulders. Like
show off how much fucking hair you have on your shoulders. That is kind of weird.
Yeah, like I understand if you're just.
I mean, again, if we're going to criticize one, Eric Van Sciver wears the gayest costumes imaginable. So I mean, he doesn't have to do that either.
Right, I think. Which I mean, he does like some of them are funny. Some of them are like, Ethan does strike me as like the sole thing of like when people are like comics gay doesn't like gays, and it's like, have you watched Ethan's streams? Have you listened to Cecil? Like, I think they're okay with gay people. They're not. It's not like that. They're not. but so anyways, the Clipaverse, this kid, he starts making all this stuff. He makes shirts and YouTube shows, and he's talking videos all about it. He shows up to the warehouse.
No. No.
No one's there, and he goes like they video him. He goes up to the window and he tapes like $40 in ones onto the window, and he's like, "Ignore these super chats, Eric July."
What the fuck?
It's so goofy that it's just like it's like a car crash, you know. It's like you just can't even like look away. Like I don't even like I don't even know what's going on, but it is entertaining, you know. And he is like I watched a bit of like one of these Clipaverse show his videos. They're, you know, it looks like him and his girlfriend, or at least some girl that he convinced to do videos with them, and they make jokes, and they make a lot of jokes about Eric July and this and that, you know. And it's bizarre that it inspires all of this, because I mean that's the thing too, is there is so many other people that also hate Eric July, that's like their whole thing is just doing videos complaining about you know, Comicsgate or Eric July or all of them. And
well, it's to the point that I saw a few weeks ago there was a conspiracy going around that there are actually that the comics pros, someone in the professional comic book world, actually pays, like a crisis firm actually pays some of these haters of Comicsgate to sit on Twitter all day long and come up with different ways to complain about them.
I could believe that. I could believe that. I mean, they just had that about it was like HBO or something, wasn't it?
Was it?
It was one of these like TV channels or something where like it came out, they were like, you know, they were having their employees do this, you know, go online,
making burner accounts. And,
right. I mean,
well, it was during the whole cancel pig thing with
Mark Millar and
that
Mark.
Yeah, they started talking about these people being actually paid by crisis firms to get in there and intimidate and harass people in the comics Twitter sphere and YouTube sphere, intimidate them into not you know, complaining about mainstream comics, which is hard to believe, but at the same time, you know,
kind of backwards. Like, how could you? Well, I guess maybe you'd be. Well, that's probably the thing with like, because Twitter definitely is like has changed, where it's, you know, before you couldn't say like anything on there, or else you'd get strikes or whatever. You know, the same thing with like Facebook and all that. I mean, maybe I don't know. I mean, I could definitely believe that whether or not they're like literally paying someone, you know, to go and I don't know, defend mainstream comics. I don't know. You know, there's so, that's what I'm saying, is there's so many people that just do that already. I mean, are they getting paid too? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, because, you know, at this point, you know, like what?
I kind of got swept up in it there for a minute when it was going on, when the cancel pig thing started trending, and so I would hit the hashtag, and then I would see the people going absolutely fucking autistic,
Yeah.
defending mainstream comics and just melting down over the fact that someone was calling them cancel pigs. And so I started just to see what would happen. I started accusing them of being paid shills, and the amount of like overreaction was very telling to me, that they were just like, "Oh, this guy thinks we're paid. Can you believe that? Someone could possibly believe that I was getting paid to do this?" And I was like, "Well, you're either getting paid or you're an absolute fucking like autistic weirdo. Like, are you really bragging that you do this for free from the time you wake up until the time you go to bed every day?" And then, of course, it starts the deflection. Your art sucks. Like, we're not talking about my art. We're talking about you spending 18 hours a day defending mainstream, billion-dollar mainstream comics brands. What's up? What's up with that? Are you getting paid for it or not? And it was just the reactions were really. Let me just say, I was not convinced that they are not being paid. It was very apparent that there's something fucky going on, man. They were protesting way too much, way too loudly, overreacting way too much when someone said they were being paid. Like trying to deflect away from it as fast as they could. Like I believe it. I think that there's some money in it. Maybe not a lot, but enough to entice people to sit around on the internet all day and complain about
right.
Comicators.
Enough. That's all it takes. Yeah. No. Well, I mean, it could be money. It could be. There's a million different ways they could.
Yeah, like
favors.
Like Access Media.
Exactly. Like we'll put you on the comp list. We'll send you digital copies of Spider-Man if you just.
Or they come out.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
You just defend our decision to make Peter Parker suck Doc Ock's dick in this issue.
It's just I knew this would happen. I always knew that Peter had something in his eye for Otto Octavius. No, I've been telling my friends this forever. Peter's gonna give him a Blumpkin. I know it.
Peter's gonna give him
the surprise Blumpkin.
All right, here's my Ganja Gremlins, Dr. Ben.
Okay. We're going to make it full screen there, so that way I can see it better. Okay.
Hang on. I got you.
Yeah, that's...
1 second. Here we go. There's the panel where their arms pop out of the little weed nugs. And there's the... I kind of wanted to go for a like a Critters look.
Yeah.
The Chiodo brothers, they have those really long mouths, those big smiles, big eyes.
Little pig ears on the top. I'm digging it.
Well, those are it'll look like when they're in color, it'll make more sense. Those are weed leaves.
Oh, okay.
These are weed leaves sticking out. Like these are nugs. They're going to be green, and then those will be like purple.
I see.
The little weed leaves popping out of them. They look like little kind buds, little nugs that are also vicious and terrifying.
Okay. Yeah.
So that page is done. There's the weed wizard flying, smoking a big blunt. Hogan in the background down there, like, what the fuck? And Hogan chasing after him. There's the three little weed nugs on the ground. And that's when they pop out. The hands pop out.
Okay.
Ganja Gremlins. Yeah.
I dig it.
How are you coming along there on Jabroni? Brony.
I guess I can't pull up that close because then I get. Yeah, he's coming along. He got his hair done.
Yeah, that's a lot of work on his hair. What are you using there? A crow quill?
Yeah. This one's getting kind of.
I can't use that, man. I have a whole bunch of crow quills, but I can't get them to.
Oh yeah,
it takes a lot of practice.
It is a pain. That's because I know I actually I must have just figured out how to use them just this year. When back in 2020, that must have been when I figured it out, because I had them before then, and I did an interview with I can't remember who it was, and I was talking about it in there. I was like, wait, you use the the pen nib stuff? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, I cannot figure out how to, I can't get ink to come out of them. I put them on. I
Yeah,
got
I
the
was
thing.
doing a lot of scratching and not a lot of inking when I tried them. What's
Yeah,
this? What's the secret?
I have no idea really how you do it is the thing. Like it always seems like it's a struggle. And I feel like that is the key for me doing like any of this stuff, is to just struggle and
Sure.
have to fight to get every bit of ink on there.
Here's the real important question, though. Why doesn't he have a gigantic horse dog?
Well, that's a good point.
That's prime real estate right there. Totally open area between his legs. Just white, begging for a big black horse cow. You make it uncircumcised, like
I
the
would
head
imagine.
barely peeking out of the uncircumcised.
Yeah, he should
Black
have
dog.
some kind of. Well, I mean, this is one thing too, is because I want it to be like a satire of, because if you switch the J and the L,
Yeah.
it's Lebroni James. So if I don't want to give him like a big wiener,
You have him a tiny little horse stick.
yeah, just have like a little,
A sad little horse wiener.
Exactly.
Like
That's what I'm saying.
he's not
like
supposed to get. He's not supposed to be admired here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's not the hero of the story at all. He's just, you make a joke about like he was doing steroids, and so now it's just like looks like a little acorn or something. Like, I'm not really sure how this is going to work with doing the horse body. Anyways, maybe I should bring up a picture of a horse.
No, it looks good. I think that those are good proportions.
What did I just do? Okay, there. Chores. Horse.
Have you been reading along with Ed Piskor's new Switchblade Shorties daily strip?
Well, I wouldn't say reading along. I just checked it out, and it was up to the 3rd or 4th strip or something. And
What are your initial thoughts?
I did not like it.
What don't you like about it? I agree. I don't like it. What do you not like about it?
Like, it's just the phonetic language.
That's exactly my complaint. I could not get through it because he's got all those kids with such fucked up phonetic dialogue that I can't read it. I can't sit and read an entire comic strip when you sound out their fucking speech impediments like that. That's the worst way to do dialogue. Like, that's actually like, that's writing 101 is you don't force your reader to fucking try to decipher. You can have one character do that in a way, but you have to do it in a way like Lovecraft was bad at that. When you read an H.P. Lovecraft story, often he'll have those backwoods. Are you a Lovecraft fan? Do you know the stories?
Sir, please.
I don't know. Some people are, some people
How
aren't.
I started on all this stuff.
Good.
Yeah, no.
So like in Shadow over Innsmouth, a lot of the dialogue is from the villagers.
Bomb, I remember. Yeah.
And what is the other one? There's Shadow over Innsmouth, and then there's which is the one with. Now here I am not being able to come up with the.
No, you're fine, because that's what I'm saying. I would just be like that other I get.
Wilbur Whately, the story he's in is that's where he gets the Necronomicon from the school, his mother, and he's got an invisible brother that the wizards have to fucking fight at the end with magic spells. The all the like hick townsfolk in that story talk in that phonetic language, and it's so hard to follow along with it. I would just skip over a lot of it in his writing. Um, Dunwich Horror, god damn it. The Wilbur Whitley stories, Dunwich Horror. So a lot of the Dunwich townsfolk talk like that, where they've got the real thick accents, and he would try to write that out phonetically. And then also the villagers from Shadow over Innsmouth would talk like that too, like the bus driver.
Yeah, let me bring it up. Actually, let me know what I'm talking about here, because I know
the art's good. I mean, he's a great cartoonist.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like it's the I don't know. That's what I'm saying. There's something about it that just doesn't work for me. I'm not gonna say that it's bad.
Keep talking. I'm going pee.
Yeah. But just the for one, obviously, like we just said, the weird phonetics language stuff. Like a little bit is okay, but like everything they say. Here, let me pull this one up. This is from a week ago. There's the three of them, the three little kids. They're all in a car and they're playing with the CB. 10 hut. I have fourth ter Lambert here with uth uth, and she won't want to give away free kisses. Stop it, soda pop. I don't know. It's just. Oh, wait a second. Is that there? Okay, yeah, and then here's go play with your pound puppies and keep these lines clear for grown folks who need them. I'm telling the police on ya. It seems for one that he missed like a word there. Go play with your pound puppies and keep these lines clear for grown folks who need them. I'm telling the police on ya. I would think it would be like, or I'm telling the police, but I don't know.
Yeah, it turned me off real quick having to trying to decipher that shit.
And the one with the pigtails that just stick up like butt plugs, like that one, I don't know what. Like that's what I'm saying. Like some of his characters, I like the design, and then other ones I'm like,
What about butt plugs?
There's one of them that has got pigtails.
Yeah.
And they just look like little like butt plugs on her head.
Oh.
Like, it just looks like she has two of them just sticking up off the top of her head.
Interesting.
I don't know. Like I liked Red Room, but like it got kind of. I don't know how it can be boring to like have like extreme violence and like like crazy internet murder rooms and all that stuff. I don't know how you can make that like not. I don't know. There's just something about it that's just this like the last. I didn't get the third Red Room series just because like I got through the second one and I was just like, I just felt bored with it. Like I liked all the designs. I loved what was it? The lady Mistress Pentagram. That was the one. I loved her design. And and I had
those Red Room characters looked wicked.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I love the designs, but it's just like I don't know. It's kind of the same thing like with a lot of the like extreme horror stuff. I just get kind of like what is the point? Like why What is
Yeah.
this for? What? And
I like to, a rule of thumb for me as a writer is it's important that whatever the story is that is the setup to when everything goes wrong and gets ultra violent and crazy, like this is a group of friends that's going out to the woods and there's a killer in the woods that kills them one by one. What makes or breaks that story is what's happening with that group of people as they go into the woods. Like if you were going to tell that story and there was no killer and they didn't die, what makes that story compelling? Because the best extreme horror happens in the characters' lives beyond the horrific stuff. The horrific stuff is just what it is.
Right.
That stuff is basically always going to be the same. And you can be creative with the kills, of course you can, but the characters matter and what they're doing matters. And I've always found like, are you familiar with what is that Roger Corman movie where the humanoids from the deep? You ever seen that movie?
I have not.
So Roger Corman's Humanoids from the Deep is about these sea monsters that come up out of the water, and they kind of look like the creature from the Black Lagoon, but great, but more like werewolfy. They got big claws and huge mouths, and they come out to rape the big bosomed women. So that pretty much sells you on it, right?
Yeah.
Sea monsters come up out of the water and rape hot chicks. Like there you go. So that's the hook that gets you to the movie. What the movie is about is this this Native American tribe has been pushed out of their fishing territory by this asshole fucking corporate corporate fishery is like pushing out the natives from this land, and they're trying to fight to keep their livelihoods. And that is the backdrop to when everything starts going crazy and these things start coming out of the water to rape the women, all these dudes that are fighting over property and fighting over business and fighting over their family tradition, they have to learn to work together to try to fight off this monster invasion. And it makes the movie so awesome to see how these dudes can put aside their differences and get along to kick these monsters' asses. And it makes because the creature designs are great, but the movie is has so much more depth to it beyond being a fishman rape fantasy, right? And so that to me that's what's important about storytelling. So Ed can come up with all the creative kills and cool looking costumes that he wants to for Red Room, but if he doesn't have a story uh, buoying that stuff up, it's going to get boring. If it's just repetitive killing over and over again, and there's no story outside of that, then it's not going to be. It's just not going to keep your. It's not going to hold your attention. You got to have an A story and a B story. If your B story isn't
And there was
enough,
stuff like that going on in Red Room too. Is the thing that's what I'm saying is because like there was the whole story about like all the killers, and then there was a thing. I can't remember if it was the first series or the second series, but it was I can't remember which. It was one of the killers, like the one that was like a big fat guy. It was like him at home, and like his daughter was like discovered that he was a killer, and the cops came and got him or something, and it was just that's what I'm saying. It was just like I was like okay. That's what I'm saying. Like I don't know if it's just that like I just somehow lost an interest in like horror, extreme horror, but I don't even think it's that. That's what I'm saying. It was just there with Red Room. It just like there was something else that needed to be done or something. I don't know. I think maybe it was like he was trying to. It felt like maybe he was trying to force too much of a continuity into it, having like the same killers through all of it or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like you got to kind of come up with all these stories of like or explanations that why, how how are these killers? They're on the internet. They're broadcasting all these horrible deaths and murders and all this stuff. How are they managing to evade police and all this different, you know what I mean? Like it,
Right.
I don't know. It just, there was something with it. That's what I'm saying. It's like there is just something with it that just, I almost feel like it would have been better if it was just more unrelated. Like that's what I'm saying. Is like it felt like he was trying to force it too much into having an ongoing story where I think it would have been better if he would have stuck with just done more like like a not Mad Magazine. Maybe it was Mad Magazine, but like the old, like the old EC horror stuff where it's like just a random unconnected horror stories from issue to issue.
Right.
I think that would have worked better with it, but I don't know, and I have no idea how, if it was actually really well received or not. Like, you can still get like every issue.
Red Room, you mean?
Yeah.
You talked it up like it was the best selling thing Fantagraphics has ever done.
I know. And that's what I'm saying. I never saw like anything where he was like, and here's the sales numbers, or what I'm saying? Like, that's one of the things you got to say for crowdfunding and whatnot. Like, you can't fake it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if nobody buys your book, like, everybody says, oh, nobody, 2 people bought his book. Awesome.
Comicsgate is accused of slush fund money, pushing money around. And that's how there's like the conspiracy for years was that there was 25,000, because if you would go on Ethan's stream, your comic book was almost guaranteed to raise $25,000. And so there was a conspiracy that sort of crept up that was there's a $25,000 slush fund that Ethan would inject into the the creators who would come on his show. He would artificially inject their campaigns with $25,000 to make it look like they were more
artificial insemination,
more successful than they were. But I'm not sure if you can look. I think you can turn off the actual number of contributors, or can you? Or is that because if you just dropped in $25,000, that's a one-time donation. So if you had 8 contributors and the 9th one was $25,000, that would be easy to see, and that's not what was happening.
I think you can have hidden rewards that don't show up to show. If you have like your list of rewards, a comic with this cover, a comic with that cover, a T-shirt, whatever, and it'll tell you, like 20 people got this, 50 people got that. I think you can also have like hidden rewards that don't show. So I mean, I guess you could. I mean, if that's what the case was, I mean, I don't. That seems kind of.
Seems kind of crazy.
Yeah, outlandish. Try to get a little.
But some people argue, man. To this day, they argue that the Comicsgate is just the same money getting pushed around.
I mean, if Ethan can lend me 25,000 for a little while, I'll give it back. I'll give it back after a couple of years.
Are you going to do any crowdfunding this year?
That is the goal. I've got to still. I've been tense negotiations with a potential business partner.
That's the idea.
To be able to there's assorted legal complications that I can't really, my legal team has advised me not to discuss
Right.
open forums, but
More of us should probably heed that advice. Talk about so much openly. But the plan is.
But the plan, yes.
Comic this year?
But yes, the plan is to launch, relaunch. Maybe I should do like a different name for it. I like relaunch, but then that's what I'm saying. Like maybe I'm like starting to like second guess myself, and maybe that's what I need to like be like, no, I just need to get this done and do it. Because like relaunch from the start has been. Do I have a copy over here? If I have a copy over here, I'll show you. But it's from the start, like I wanted it to be like an anthology kind of thing. Like, like the way like 8 Ball was an anthology, or like
Love and Rockets.
Exactly. Be able to just do different stories on a consistent basis. And I also want to switch to working in more like a manga format, that smaller size for the printed thing, and then maybe do it like if there's like a big request for like, we want regular sized books or big books or something, maybe then do like artist editions or special editions or something like that later.
Right.
But it is cheaper to do the smaller size, and in my mind, maybe I'm crazy, right? That's possible, probably. But my concept is that if I print my stuff to appear as if it is some sort of other manga, like an alternative manga, right? Mm-hmm. Present it in the same format, and just kind of slip it in along with other manga stuff. That's how you get the kids to read it. You got to trick them. Yeah. Sneak it in there, like you put broccoli, like underneath the macaroni and cheese or whatever, just like that, sneak, or like putting you get a spoonful of sugar to help the medicine go down. This is Spoonful of Sugar is the manga that's out there that kids are reading. The Demon Slayer, the Death Notes, the what's the Pirates one? I can't remember the name of it.
One Piece.
That's the sugar, and then I want them to just be like, oh, what's this? Another weird little manga book. Oh, and pick up. It'll have. I guess I could talk about that anyways. I've got the main story I've been working on set in where they just discover this Tartarian empire that's you must have watched one of the videos I sent to you at some point now of the
I haven't. I haven't. I forgot all about it. I need
to. Jeez, I sent you the one.
Sent me the one on St. Louis. I gotta watch that. I meant to watch it that night, and I fucking forgot all about it.
Well, so that's the basic idea of where relaunch takes place, is in a world where the Tartarian Empire was real and has been hidden, and is in fact like a underground empire, right? Mm-hmm. Or well, it's underground now. There was a giant flood of radioactive or demonic mud, right? Came up, flooded everything, right? So a lot of the things that were here before are now buried underground. A lot of the buildings are much bigger than we think. Like a lot of them have like hidden underground stuff, which it's funny, like all this stuff is coming out in the news anyways about all these tunnels and whatnot in New York. They're tunneling underneath the synagogues. So it's odd because that's what I'm saying. That's not. I didn't have Zionists tunneling under synagogues, but maybe that's what I should put in, is that the Zionists, are evil and are actually serving Satan. It's possible.
I have a one of the books that I've have written in is on my queue to draw this year is Cockhammer 3, The Devil's Dick.
Excellent.
And it all, if you've read Cockhammer Lives, the graphic novel, at the end, Parander and Cousin Susie take over hell. And that's where Cockhammer 3, The Devil's Dick picks up, as they're in a domestic dispute and they break up in hell. And one of the things I talk about is the Zionists and where they ended up. Their postulation that Jesus is boiling in excrement in hell, whether or not that turned out to actually be true or not. I kind of play with that a little bit in that book. That's going to be a lot of fun to draw.
Excellent.
But what are you planning on doing it as a? What's the length? The length of this hypothetical, possibly financed, possibly not book that may or may not be released? Purely speculation. If it were to be released, how long would it be?
Like 200 pages is the goal.
200.
Yeah, I would say I've got between 50, 75 pages now.
Already done.
Right.
Okay.
And then I've
got your shit's gonna be bigger than this. This is only 165.
Well, I mean, that's the thing though, is like a manga that's like the average size for you get a copy of Death Note or Inuyasha.
Yeah, they run 100 to 200 pages.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Maybe not 200. Maybe it'll be 160 or 180. But that's what I'm saying. Like a good chunk of comics, manga. Now, but I've got. This is what I realized, is that I've got all these other horror stories and just weird stories, and probably about 100 or so different dreams that I've written down, and just all kinds of weird little scenes and like horrific ideas and stuff. And that's exactly I'm not gonna try and like sell horror short stories to I don't want to go about trying to be a writer or whatever. Take those, rather than take the time that they would need anyways to turn them into like a polished story. Just use those as outlines and make comics out of them. The story's all there. I just have to draw it. And like I wrote it, so I know what it is.
Right.
Like I've got a modern Snow White tale, right? See, that's the other thing. When I went down to KillerCon in 2018, I printed out and published a bunch of these, and I gave them to like a whole bunch of people. I had a girl do the cover. I don't know why. The cover kind of sucks, but called Trash Snow White, and it's just
okay.
It's just like a
little chapbook.
Yeah. I just gave them. I gave one to Edward Lee. Gave some to Brian Keane. I assume Wrath.
Don't ever tell those guys you know. Don't ever tell those guys you know me.
Oh, I don't. I don't. I don't. None of them have ever.
Woo! Does Brian Keane hate me?
Yeah, none of them have anything to do with me. So it's.
Yeah, that the first thing I did. I made a little chapbook of a Lovecraftian tale I wrote called Last Gig on Planet Earth, and printed it out like that with like a thicker green cover, black and white, but black
Right.
and green, thicker cover, and then regular pages, and took like 20 or 25 copies to a horror convention and gave them away.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's
Before I published proper. Are you planning on launching this thing before the art's finished or afterwards? Are you going to draw the whole thing and then launch it, or are you going to just? You said you got 75 pages. Are you going to just?
I would think
send it
launch
into the
it.
stratosphere?
Yeah, I would think launch it before it's done. Like, I'm not gonna. Like, every page has to be. Because what I figured to do with the campaign is run it on at least 2, maybe all 3 of the different sites. Like, I'd started it on Fund My Comic, right? I'm friends with the guy that runs that. Yeah, with Luke, Mr. Stone, good guy. Started on there and run it on there exclusively for a month or whatever, and then add in at least Indiegogo. I don't know. It'd probably be better for me to just do one at a time. You know what I mean? To have like the Fund My Comic going the whole time, and then also do Indiegogo for a month, and then maybe Kickstarter for a month as well, or whatever. Just that way I can get, because there's people that are on Kickstarter that aren't on Indiegogo. There's people that are on Indiegogo that aren't on Kickstarter. Like I don't want to get like I'm only running on Kickstarter. I'm only running. None of that really matters to me. Like I get the whole. I do think it's like shitty, like with Kickstarter, like they've kicked different people off. Like they kicked Mike Barron off for
Indiegogo's done the same.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I'm not like Indiegogo is really the best, because then there's also the thing where they supposedly shadow ban people. Like that.
They canceled my Cockhammer Lives Kickstarter when it was done, or I'm sorry, Indiegogo when it was finished, and it was in the final couple of days of its what do you call that overdraft phase? After you've already completed it and funded it, and then you can go into a
like after it was like funded and like the campaign was over.
Yeah.
What?
And they had given me my money, but the thing was still open. I forget what they call that when you could have the campaign just like sit there and be open.
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Then they canceled it after that. I was like, oh my god, thank God I got my money out of that before they fucking
right
sucked me, because I've seen horror stories of guys get their book funded and then it gets so they go they send it off to the printer or whatever, or pay the artists or whatever it is
right, and then
the phase they're in, and then Indiegogo or Kickstarter or whatever will zuck them and take their money and refund it back to the backers. And it's like, my God, at least that didn't happen.
Yeah,
at least that didn't happen to me. And then so I was like, well, I don't even know if I should try to run another campaign on Indiegogo. If they zucked me, they must have me flagged for running Cockhammer. So I ran Nixon and Hogan's Horror Weed Halloween, and I just kind of crossed my fingers and hoped that the campaign wouldn't get zucked, and it didn't. That one went fine.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. It's like I don't look at either of them, the big two of the crowdfunders. I don't look at either of them as like this one's obviously the better. They're both questionable, sus. They're both sus.
Sus, as the kids say.
Yeah, sus. It means suspicious. That's what that means.
Is that what that means? Oh.
That's what that means. Suspicious.
We don't have time. We don't have time to say the whole word.
Too much. It's too long.
Got to abbreviate it. And we don't have
I don't know
time in the day to say whole words.
I don't know what cap means though.
No cap.
No fucking idea what cap and no cap means.
Yeah.
What the fuck does that mean?
Like cap? Like Captain America?
I know if somebody's saying that, no cap, no cap. They 100% have broccoli styled hair and they have a lanyard hanging out of their fucking sweatpants. No
Oh,
cap, no cap.
oh, yeah, those guys. Yeah, no, that's no good.
For real. On God.
I can see, oh God, I can see for real. I've probably said that myself, just but it'd have to be quite something important to put it on God, It's
Dr. Ben, I've got enough floppy comics at this point that I can start running crowdfunders and do a crowdfunder every quarter for the next forever. And I think that's what I'm going to start doing. I think the very next crowdfunder I'm going to do, and I kind of want to get it done in January, but I'm running out of January. Is my my comic that I did this comic right here, Death to Strangeville, that I did as an exclusive to the Strangeville Comics archive. That's like a 24-page comic. Has never been released as a physical comic. So I think we're launching Death to Strangeville very soon. And as soon as that's done, we're going to launch Too Many Dabs. And as soon as that's done, we're going to launch Too Many Dabs issue 2. And that gets us all the way through the third quarter of 2024. And by that time, the first issue of Wizard of Ganj will be long done. And we'll go right into Wizard of Ganj issue 1. I think I can just start crowdfunding these floppies and do them continuously. And I think I've got enough shit that I can just nonstop crowdfund forever now.
I can see that. Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what if I thought about this the other day, you think about like the big two is Marvel and DC, right? Big two. And like people are realizing like, for one, like you're only going to get the same thing at Marvel and DC. I think the big two is going to become more and more Indiegogo and Kickstarter.
Oh yeah, it already has.
And it's just that's going to replace the whole mentality of like, are you a Marvel zombie or are you like a DC fanboy? Are you a Kickstarterite or are you a Indiegogo?
Well, I like Luke a lot. I just don't know if I feel comfortable putting my smut on his poor little wholesome Christian comics funding platform. And I've asked him directly, Luke, is there a place for adult underground comics on Fund My Comic? And his answer was very concise. Yes, as long as nothing on the campaign page has graphic nudity in it.
Right.
All right. I mean, God, I just don't want to do that to him. I don't want to cockhammer 3 the devil's dick on Fund My Comic. It just seems like I'm being an asshole to him. Like trying to get him to make my comic the first comic banned from Fund My Comic. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to do that on purpose. I don't want to do that to him. I don't want to put him in the position where he has to make that call and be like, fuck, I gotta ban a comic. I'm the place you're supposed to be able to go to not have to worry about, being a conservative or a Republican or a Christian and getting zucked by the fucking, the Rainbow Brigade. And here comes Kevin Strange. Oh yeah? How about the devil's dick? Is that okay? I just don't know if I can do that to that poor guy.
Where? Oh, there we go. Let me. Well, do you know how to present screens on where you're drawing? I'm not going to be like. I'm going to say I'll pull up.
I can pull something up. What do you want me to pull up?
I say I pulled up Fund My Comic to see if they've got any adult styled comics on there now.
I highly doubt it.
Dark of Midnight. I think.
How do I share your screen?
Uh,
You got to put it. You got to put it down in the lobby, and then I have to be able to bring it up. Right?
yeah, no, I don't know. So, well, see, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. Let me turn that off for a second. I'm gonna flip this thing around here.
I go to present, and I go to
Yeah,
share screen, but that's share my screen. So, do you
yeah.
have that in your area down there? Do you have present?
No, that's what I'm saying. I can't do present off of the phone. If you go on yours, just share a different window. Like open up a separate window to window. I sound like I'm just from fucking Georgia. Open up another window on their computer. Yeah, you just share like a separate window of whatever site you want to go to. That way you're not doing there you go. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm looking at maybe nothing's looking like adult so far. Rainy Road Roundup.
What would we even look up?
There's a part where it has all the stuff go down just a hair on there, list. It'll say, yeah, see all those little boxes. That's where I'm going, at least. That's where I went, was just comics to see what it has listed.
Floyd Band Swell. This is Underground Comics ish, isn't it? I thought I saw a promo for this.
Oh, there you are. Okay.
It says mature. There's a tag on it that says mature.
Maybe.
It says Robert Floyd Man Summer is the mind and imagination behind Planet F Studios. He got his start in the small press network in the 90s, producing his own comics, and moved to creating original sketch cards for Tops, like Garbage Pail Kids, Wacky Packages, and Sets for Dynamite. So he's a mainstream guy, but it does have a mature tag on it. Because here's it's Swell Comics.
Oh
So
yeah,
he's presenting it as sort of an underground comics. What does that say right there? I can't. Does that say mature humor for a humorless world? So it does have a mature tag on it. Here's the page. Well, this looks cool as fuck. I mean, look at it.
Can you
see that real well?
Let me see here. Let me pull it over. Oh yeah, okay. Oh yeah.
It looks like a Mad Magazine style.
You know what it reminds me of? You know that Jason Fucator? Is that what his name is?
Yeah, I know Fucator. He's cool.
Yeah. That reminds me of like the way his stuff looks too. It's got that same
Fucator hand letters and hand colors. He inks letters and colors all by hand. I mean, it must take him forever.
And it doesn't, like, his colors are so freaking just smooth and just,
oh yeah, beautiful stuff.
I don't know how he does it. It's fucking.
I'm gonna click this mature tab. I'm gonna click this mature tag and see what we have under mature.
That might be the way to go. Is there?
Kitaru Witch Hunter looks a little sus. Oh, here we go. Shadow Hunters #5 has big ass titties on the cover. Not much. It looks like only about 8 to 10 books have the mature tag.
It just happened. What just happened? Okay.
Graphic novel mature, comics mature, manga mature. There are different tags for that. So yeah, they got naked titties on the cover. They're covered by their hair. Are you looking at this?
Yes.
Okay. Those kind of look like 3D models. If we're talking about, if we're criticizing Eric July, that looks a little, don't you think? They look a little 3D modelish? Maybe not.
Oh yeah. Well, the art down there doesn't, but like that
No, the art doesn't down there is
the
different from the
cover.
art on the cover.
Yeah, the cover definitely looks.
Oh, this stuff looks cool. I like this. Can you see my mouse?
Yeah.
Yeah, this page in particular looks awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. We got ass and some barely covered titties and whatever that is in her mouth. The chip.
I like the idea of it, but there's something. Her butt is in the wrong spot.
Her butt is where her back should be. She's got a butt back. Yeah, here's all this digital stuff. Look at the titties on the so
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this stuff is like this is the normal kind of horny teenager kind of stuff that you would see on a comic book stand.
Yeah.
Cockhammer 3 The Devil's Dick is so much more. Look, you can even get the nude cover here.
Oh,
Shadowhunters 1 nude. $25. How many pages is it for $25?
Jason Doob. Where do I know that name from?
Doesn't say how many pages there are. That's an important buying point for me. I don't want to spend $25 if it's 20 pages.
Does it have it? That one's just too much.
Which one? This one?
Yeah. It's just too silly.
Let's see if it says up here for number 5 how many pages number 5 is.
Having sexy monster girls. Let me pull this up. What is it called? Shadowhunters?
Shadowhunters number 5. I don't see any reference to the page. It's a 46 page serial comic, so 45 pages for $25. A little steep.
Well, it's from California.
A little steep. For by contrast, let me stop sharing. For $5 more, you get 164 pages.
Wait, or no, you can get it. You can get it for 20.
Oh, it's the nude cover the titties on the cover is what gives you.
Yeah, only perverts would automatically go to the $25. I have to get the nude cover.
I got you. So he allows that stuff on there. That's okay. I just don't know if I want to bring the big dick Strangeville.
That's the way to do it. Everyone's at the bar. Everybody's a cute girl. Everybody's trying to figure out what to do. What's going to make more of an impression if you come in and like, oh, I've also got a dick, or if you come in and
slam that.
Boom, there it is. Check it out. Oh, shit,
slam that fucking
over. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's the way to enter. Is just come in. Here it is. The devil's dick in your face. 3 feet long. Covered with barbs.
It is covered with barbs. That's a selling point. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm gonna go. I had a lot of success with Indiegogo. I moved over to Kickstarter with Space Worms to see if I could get a different and a bigger audience, and I didn't. I actually had a smaller audience over there. So I think I want to go back to Indiegogo and do Death to Strangeville over there. And it'll be like an $8. It'll be like an $8 price point with like a $5 shipping. So it'll be $13 altogether. After shipping, we'll get you the book.
See, that's what I'm saying though. I think you can do you can do them on both sites, like at the same
Right.
time, or like approximately. I think it's at the same time because like when I covered that Santos sisters, they had whatever their latest Santos sisters thing was, and it was on both. It was on Indiegogo and it was on Kickstarter. Both of them are on at the same time.
I think that Luke gives you a 3%.
Yeah. If you do it,
if you go exclusive on his for the first 30 days. And my printer, I go through Comics Wellspring. They
right.
give you 10% a 10% discount on printing if you put their logo, their little whatever placard on your campaign for the first 30 days. And then if you use Funder, is that one? Funder?
I think so.
Funder. They give you an additional 5, so you get a 15% discount if you go through Funder. But I've never used that, so I'll probably just take the 10%.
Right. Yes. Well, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not sure if I want to. I definitely want to start. Like I said, start it on Fun My Comic. I like Luke. I think this is the thing too. Is I think part of it is just going to be having it out there and having it. Hey, look, I've gotten a campaign up. You know, I've been in this. I've been in that. Blah blah blah. Don Simpson hates me or whatever. You know. And basically look at it as like kind of like the headquarters of like this is where, because you can set it to like combine all your totals, right? So if you have like 2 campaigns or 3 campaigns or whatever going for the same book on these different sites,
yeah,
it'll total all of them, I believe.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. Like I and all of this is all, you know, theoretical, as I haven't run a crowdfunder yet, so it's going to be successful. Which it'll be interesting, is what I'm sure. I'm positive is it's going to be.
What are you at on subs on your channel now?
130.
Great.
But I
You
haven't.
gotta keep cranking those videos out, man.
I know. That's what, like, I fell off, and I've just been like,
What's up with that? You got great comics, dude. You pick
know,
these weird comics that I love watching those videos you do, because you pick the coolest looking comics, and I love the way you go through and analyze the art and the story. That one, what was the book that you were just bitching about that ridiculous dialogue all the way through?
what was it? Oh.
Which book was that was like overwrought with the stupidest dialogue? It was a really cool looking book. Was it a Wolverine book? It was the Wolverine.
Yes, it was Wolverine Inner Fury.
Yeah,
Because it was Bill Sienkiewicz.
yeah. It's Sienkiewicz art that's fantastic, and then the stupidest dialogue covering up everything, covering all that art with the most inconsequential, dumb dialogue. It was cracking me up every time you would bitch about the fucking word balloons.
Yeah, there is. That's the thing. Like I thought about, like, because it's like I went over, like, how you mentioned that Rav book, right? Like I wasn't sure like what was going to happen with that, because you know, like a lot of the comics people, as we've discussed, are not, you know, like it's hard to know like what exactly they're at, if they're going to be the person that is going to be angry because you're different, you're special, and they're, you know, or if they're going to be like the person who's like, I don't care, you know, like I of course vote for Joe Biden, but I don't care what, you know, like, because there's plenty of people that are like that aren't, you know, toxic, just
yeah, a lot of that's a lot of that stuff's performative, where they bitch about that stuff publicly because they think that's what gets them work or gets them in the club. That's the clubhouse password, is having Trump derangement syndrome on social media. But in reality, they don't really care.
And that's
But as
what
far as you being
I figured it was.
a comic reviewer, though, like that's none of their business. You can review any comic you want to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like that's something.
Watch, I'll do it right now. This guy's dead. He doesn't care. But look, Poison Elves volume. Which volume is this?
Oh yeah.
Poison Elves volume 6.
Volume
It's
6.
basically the guy that Sirius is one of the outlaw publishers.
Oh, yeah. No, I know
Pretty
about
much. What's up?
Yeah,
Talking to me?
Talk to me. What? I Lucifer. I know about Drew Hayes. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got
A deceased comic guy. He's a Drew Hayes is kind of a he was kind of like a Dave Sim, right? He did like volume after volume after volume of this book. It's just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pages, brilliant pages.
Yeah, he is. Because
Of this Poison Elves, and this is basically the book that launched, or the main book that Sirius released. Now, Sirius also does this Armageddon Quest. I told you about this last time.
yeah. I remember you were showing me that. That was.
Yeah, I'm on to. I don't think I had volume 2 and 3 yet. I think they were still in the mail, but I've got volume 2 and 3 now. And these are Sirius released books. But I could talk about this book all I want to. Fuck them. I wouldn't be concerned about whether a creator's gonna like your.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm like, I get worried. I'm like, are they gonna then like? And I'm like, then I think about it. I'm like, well, if they don't like me, then like, well, fuck it. Who cares? So you know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like I have all these arguments in my head, and then like I answer them, and then I'm like, what am I even talking about? What?
Look at this beautiful stuff. This is from Poison Elves. This is this is Drew. What is his name? Drew Hayes.
Yeah,
Drew Hayes. Yeah, this is him doing fishnets.
yeah, he is.
Amazing. Crazy faces that he does. I want to get all the other volumes of this. I looked it up, and they're not cheap.
They just had a Kickstarter thing too of like all of it was like the complete Poison Elves.
Really?
I think it was like there was something. I want to say like maybe it wasn't like a printed version. Now I'm like actually like really curious now, because like I remember seeing it, because it was like you could get like oh no, it was a hardcover. Okay, it was a complete. Oh, this is book 1. Okay, I see. But it was, you could get book 1, and you could also get 500 pages. I think it was like you could get like a USB drive, a wooden USB drive that was. Whoa. It says it's 500 pages, but I don't think that's all of it, because this is.
No, this alone, this volume 6 alone looks like it's 200 plus pages.
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. Like, this is book 1. It says it's I Lucifer 1 to 7, and then Poison Elves 8 to 20. Oh, okay. So that's what it was. It was the first 20 issues, and then that's when it went to Sirius. I see. Special bundle. Okay, so it was the kicks. I thought it was like all of it, but I guess I was just smoking crack that day, because it was like, wow, you get everything on a USB drive. That's crazy. But no,
I like to smoke crack every day, personally.
Yeah, it's every other day, you know.
Buddy,
Who
I'm
knows?
gonna call this. We've been on here almost 3 hours,
Oh yeah,
and
you're all good.
I gotta take a dump.
Yeah, I gotta load the stove some more. I think I gotta go outside and pull some more wood in. Fucking wood
Is
stove.
your whole setup wood fired?
Yeah. Well, I can show you actually. Hold on. You can get a. There
My
it is.
dad has his my dad has his whole thing set to wood fired. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Mine's just a big old fucking pig stove there.
It's great.
Yeah, that's ugh,
How many rooms is it heating?
like half of one.
Half of one. Oh,
It is not the best. Not the best. They're saying that they're gonna switch to. They want to go to just doing putting a gas line out here for next year. I wish they would have thought to do that last year though. But
right. Yeah, I'm about to shit all over my computer table or my computer desk here. So
all right.
I'm gonna
Well,
call this good stream.
As always.
Please do some more video reviews.
Okay.
I look forward to this.
Well, I've been deep in study on all those mangas that Yoshiharu Tsuge. I can't remember how you pronounce his name. I've been deep in research on those because they're like all this old manga that's there's either horror stories or there's also like surreal ninja stories, surreal samurai, just like mature stories, but not like porn, just like mature, like good stuff. And then like in the back of each volume, it has like these text pieces that like go into like excruciating detail about like he started here and then he published it at this place and then this happened and then he met this guy and it's like I've been nerding out on it, just like, oh, okay, so how do I explain, how do I do a review of this, what do I even say? And like, but I hear you. Sounds good. Well, yeah, I will. I guess I should probably turn off my thing to stop the other stream. All right. Well, I'll close that one. Oh, what am I doing here? I'll play that. Okay. No. Okay. Well, I don't know what I'm even trying to figure out here now. Just got the AIDS thing again. I don't. Jazz. End it with the jazz. All right. Well, yeah, go ahead and I guess end your thing. Check out, like I said, if you're YouTube or Facebook or wherever you're at, put links to his stuff and my stuff.
Yeah. Awesome. I'm gonna go take a shit.
All right.
All right. Later.